Chloe King's new life started on the day she died.
Every summer for the past few years, ABC Family has made a mark with shows aimed at teenagers.
See you at home.
In 2008, they had a real hit in The Secret Life of the American Teenager about a high school girl who becomes pregnant by a boy at band camp. This year, they have a new hit in Switched at Birth. The title says everything.
You took home someone else's baby, and another family took home yours.
Although ABC Family is primarily aimed at teenagers, it doesn't have the sex appeal of a CW or a VH1 or MTV. In fact, it has its roots in Pat Robertson's televised ministries, and although it is no longer a vehicle for religious programming, it produces explicitly, almost aggressively wholesome dramas and comedies for teenagers and their families.
I should get one of these for my office.
The Secret Life of the American Teenager is a prime example of ABC Family programming. It teaches an abstinence message. Teenage sex almost always seems to result in pregnancy or some other kind of disaster. But the show portrays its message against a backdrop of unconventional families. Single moms and dads abound. Divorce happens, affairs happen.
I just think it's time to make a change in my life, that's all.
Secret Life of the American Teenager explores family life at the peripheries. Switched at Birth, the network's latest series, explores it more centrally.
I'm sorry. I wanted to be okay with it. I'm trying, but I'm just not. I mean, I wouldn't let my other kids go on a motorcycle, and I can't.
She's not your kid. She's fine.
Switched at Birth explores two very different families living on opposite sides of the tracks in Kansas City. Class is a big component in teenage identity, and in a sense what's most interesting about Switched at Birth is the way it examines the economic disparities between the two families. Not merely the disparities, but the way each reacts to the other.
Why do you hate them so much? Is it because they have more money? Is it because she's always so chipper? What's so terrible about them? They're arrogant and entitled.
Adults who watch these series often do so with a certain degree of eye-rolling. The messages seem to come at you with an anvil. It is amazing that teenagers don't share this reaction, given that we assume they speak in the language of irony.
You just don't like her.
Perhaps the success of these shows ultimately tells us that the propaganda filter of many American teenagers isn't quite as well honed as we think.
She's my blood. I'm linked to her in a million different ways that I don't even understand yet. So if you hate her, maybe you kind of hate me too. Honey, that's not what I meant.